welcome back to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast. Jason Bale and Hard Money Makers, Ian Horowitz, Equity Warehouse, back in studio. Eugene Gershman from CIS Companies. We had Eugene on a few weeks ago. A great episode. Dived into a ton of nuggets related to real estate development, pretty much everything related to real estate development. He had a very unique strategy. So make sure you check out that episode if you haven't already. We invited Eugene back on to talk about a deal that changed his life. He's a very active investor and developer, and I'm sure he has some good stories, some bad stories. So Eugene, welcome back. Maybe just do a quick intro again, and then let's dive into it. A deal that changed your life in a good way or a bad way.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Eugene Gershman, GIS Companies, real estate development firm based out of Bellevue, Washington, in the greater Seattle area. And our main niche is partnering with property owners to help them develop their sites.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good sum up. And I know it's a little teaser. So you're going to learn more about that if you check out his past episode that we recorded a few weeks ago. So Eugene, do you have a deal that changed your life, maybe in a positive way or a negative way?
I definitely have a deal that changed my life in a negative way. Lots of deals that changed my life in a positive way. But what I would love to talk about is the deal that I think will change not just my life, but lives of many others. And that is a new concept that we are working on. And we recently published a white paper on our website about microhousing, which I think is going to be the only development, new construction, residential concept that is going to pencil in this country for the next couple of years.
All right, let's hear about it. And I'd be interested to hear about how it's different from, like, say, a trailer park. So give us your quick thesis on what microhousing is, what it looks like, and what the penciled numbers are, so people can see how it could potentially be a great change for their lives. I know it's popular out there on the West Coast. We don't see it much here on the East Coast. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
So it's an interesting comparison to a trailer park because trailer parks are considered to be cheap. They're considered to be run down, and most college-educated young professionals would probably hate living in one. And that is exactly the target market. So in big cities like Seattle, like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, I'm going up and down the West Coast, but you could apply that same concept to DC, New York, Boston, Chicago, any of the major large cities. We have this huge influx of college grads that are finishing their school, they're getting into the workplace, and they have no place to live. They cannot afford to buy a home. They can barely afford to rent an apartment in the city anymore. And we as developers cannot afford to build new apartment buildings or houses for them to afford because everything is so damn expensive. And so we've been trying to solve this problem. How do we build a housing for not poor people, not some kind of distressed people, but for regular young professionals that simply need to be able to live close to where they work? And microhousing turned out to be the solution. It's not a new concept. People have done that for years. There are not a lot of examples of microhousing built in downtown cores. Typically, it's almost like, I like to describe them as like a little frat house, right? Where you've got little bedrooms, shared kitchens, shared common areas. A lot of times they are situated around major college campuses, and they are targeting students. There's been a few examples in the Seattle area of microhousing being built in surrounding areas, but they're all smaller buildings. What we said is, it's great, but I don't want to deal with shared kitchens, shared living spaces. It's weird. And, but I want people to, weird for grownups, right? It's like for college kids, maybe it's fun, but at some point you want some privacy, right? So that's become the concept. So essentially what we're talking about is the best way to describe it as a hotel room. you've got a bed, you've got a small living space, work area, TV room, little kitchenette. You're not going to be cooking meals and Thanksgiving turkeys there, but you do want to be able to warm up dinner, or to make simple breakfast, and an accessible bathroom. So we're talking about 200 square feet, 250 square feet studios, 300 square feet to 350 square feet one bedrooms. The cost per square foot of those units is going to be through the roof. It's stupid expensive on a per square foot basis. If you were to compare it with an existing inventory, it's going to be more expensive. But the cost of the unit itself, the overall price, is going to be substantially less and affordable. And that's the only way to build housing in this market today. It's not going to be forever. At some point, paychecks are going to rise to match the real estate prices, and the market will find a new equilibrium. I think everybody agrees that prices aren't going to come down.
I would agree. I don't think prices are coming down. Hopefully the equilibrium does take place here in the very near future. And with all that being said, it's an interesting concept. Now, is the concept to rent or to sell?
Both. Okay. In fact, the new model we just developed is a condominium deal where it is going to be for sale. And the argument there is that with small enough down payment, buyers could qualify for FHA loans, and the down payment requirement is substantially smaller on an FHA deal, that even with current market interest rates, those units are still going to be comparable to rent.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how that performs. And I know a lot of, we talked about it in the last episode, ADUs, micro housing, all those types of things are much more popular out on your guys' side of the country than it is over here. But I would agree, especially these infilled areas, it's harder to find tracts of land that are affordable to build, 50, 70, 100 house subdivisions, 2,000-3,000 square foot homes. And honestly, a lot more people don't even want it nowadays. They want something small that they don't have to maintain. So interested to see how you perform on that. And it looks to be really exciting. Eugene, they want to learn more about that project. They want to read the white paper on micro housing. Where can they find you on the internet to learn more about that?
giscompanies.co. That's our website. Go into blog, news and blog section, and it's right out there.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll get that in the show notes. Eugene, appreciate you coming back on. It was enjoyable once again. And guys, if you got any value out of this, please feel free to share the show. Eugene has proved to us again that he is a real operator doing real deals. Best compliment we can give him is by sharing the show. We don't care about the likes and subscribes, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Reserve podcast. Do us a favor and like, comment, and share our broadcast. It helps the algorithm and helps us spread the word too. Till next time, thank you for tuning in.